Welcome to Delta Green, God's Teeth, brought to you by Black Project Gaming. Get read in at blackprojectgaming.com. I'm Vince, your host and handler for this campaign. Joining me are Brett as Robert Bobby Gleeckman with the NSA's Tailored Access Operations Unit, Cami as FBI Special Agent Sarah Hart, also known as Agent DAPHNE, Doug as Virginia State Trooper Gerrald Bear Swenson, Jack as Father Nicolas Alvarado, professor at Georgetown University, and Sonia as Dr. Leah Caron, Army physician at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. God's Teeth is a campaign of unthinkable horrors, written by Caleb Stokes for Delta Green, the role-playing game. For more information on Delta Green, please visit delta-green.com. Music in these episodes is brought to you by Cryo Chamber and Epidemic Sound. This podcast contains depictions of and allusions to violence against both children and animals, as well as unnatural horror, graphic violence, and adult language. As a result, it is intended solely for mature audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. So in our last episode, you all made your way to Cornucopia House to begin your assault on the adults there at the behest of Agent Clove and Agent DAPHNE for the Friendlies that she gathered. You parked a good distance away from the house and successfully made your approach under the cover of night, and initially found yourself at a barn where you encountered one of the first adults there. You were unsuccessful in stealthily trying to get the drop on him, unfortunately, and for a little bit there, it was not going well. You were involved in a pretty frantic struggle with this adult male, but if not for the intervention of a dog by the name of Mr. Throb, who ripped out the throat of this man and is now strangely serene and resting and waiting and watching you all rather unnaturally, you were able to walk away from that particular encounter. And inside that barn is where you found the racks upon racks of kenneled and caged animals in various stages of malnutrition and disarray and general neglect and maltreatment. But moving on, you found this PVC pipe contraption in a field at the edge of the property that was equipped with these 10 hair dryers, and unfortunately made the grim connection that this was, specifically designed to thaw the ground and make it easier to dig in winter. And at that time, you became aware of another adult male making their way down to that particular area with a bundle, dragging a bundle behind them. And you got the drop on him, shot him, but of course lost all element of surprise as none of your weapons were suppressed, and you were engaged by a adult woman from the main house on the property, and lots of blind firing and shooting took place through walls and through open doors until eventually that threat was neutralized, and you all made your way into that house where you found 19 children. And just as neglected and mistreated as the animals you found in the barn, if not more so, sleeping on these dingy, rotten mattresses in between the kitchen and the dining room. And meanwhile, Father Alvarado made his way to the cabin that was also on the property, not far from the main house, where he met Babushka and fell under her sway and was offered tea, denied it, and attempted to shoot, eventually, this Babushka, at which point she revealed her true form, and using these unnatural abilities and unnatural rituals attacked Father Alvarado and unfortunately killed him using a withering ritual that utterly destroyed his genitals and the rest of him and left him screaming in this cabin. And in the meantime, we've got both Bear, we've got Captain Dr. Caron, we've got Bear Swenson, we've got DAPHNE now at the main house. And as you're kind of taking stock of these surroundings and these children and where you are now, the adrenaline of this gunfight still pumping through your veins, you hear Father Alvarado screaming from the general direction of that cabin that you have not checked and cleared yet.
Just to make sure I understand, where's Bobby?
Bobby should be with you at this point.
He's with us. Okay.
But if he hears Father Alvarado screaming, he might run in that direction.
What's everybody's reaction hearing this?
Shit.
Swear and run.
Yeah. Where's that screaming coming from? And she's like, when she clocks to the cabin, she's bolting.
Okay.
I think Bear is going to look around. I really don't want to leave these kids here like alone.
That's fair.
At least not until I've made sure that there's not somebody else. So, do I see any adults? Obviously not in this area. We've already seen this area, but can I, like, if I just go and like open the door and look down the hallway?
Are you going through to search the rest of the property?
I'm kind of doing that by myself now, aren't I?
You might be.
I will, when I see that him pausing, because I think Daphne had the same idea, but then hearing the scream, she's like, shit, we need to go see what's going on there. So I'll pause in like the doorway and keep an eye on him while he does that. Yeah.
When I see Daphne, they're just going to go as quickly as they can, throw open the doors, not really doing a thorough search, just making sure that there's not like some guy hiding behind a door that's going to come out and do whatever to these kids.
Sure. Yeah. You make your way through the rest of this house, and you see the hallway leading down into this other part of the residence, and it appears to be a newer addition. It's constructed of newer materials, and it's a single hallway bisecting these two long wings that are running on either side of the corridor. The carpet is newer in the living room, but it appears to be more stained. There's splashes of old vomit and what appears to be urine dotting the walls. There's holes in the plaster, and there's fingernail marks down the corridor, giving the impression that probably multiple victims have been dragged down this hallway from the main house toward this heavy-duty security door at the end. And it's that door that's facing the cottage. The doors are locked, but you don't see any sign of any adults in that part of the house.
I'm going to make a judgment call and guess that if the doors are locked, that it's okay, and come back and check the other side.
Got it. Yeah, the bedrooms themselves are also appear to be behind locked doors. However, looking at them, these are not very strong. It would be relatively easy to kick them down if you so desired, but they are locked.
I think I'm just gonna run back and say, shit, we gotta check on the father.
Yeah, I think this way. Head out.
Okay.
I just turn to the kids and say, stay here, kids.
You can see the fear in their eyes, but they are strangely placid, and they almost shy away from you.
About as placid as the animals?
More so.
Oh boy.
Maybe placid is the wrong term. Just they make a human roll.
77 fumble.
You're so distracted by having heard Father Alvarado scream, and the kind of scream, like you haven't heard anything like that in your entire law enforcement career. That was the sound of a man dying, and that has shaken you. For you, Dr. Caron, with a 20 out of 32, you've seen this before in your medical trade. These are children who are afraid of making a single solitary noise because they have been conditioned to be afraid of making noise.
Great. Okay, Father Alvarado.
Okay.
I mean, I think that as a policeman, I should like show them, in some way, because I know that with kids, you usually teach them, you show them police uniforms and you say police are the good guys. But I don't have anything like that on me. I mean, we didn't bring that, so I don't know how to help them other than do what we got to do as fast as we can and keep going.
That's all we can do.
They are staring at 4 heavily clothed, gloved, and masked adults wielding firearms.
This is not a safe time for them. We have just have to do exactly what we need to do and leave.
Yep.
Okay, so we're heading out to the cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Bobby like ran in the direction, but I think if everyone took a minute, he probably would wait for them.
Okay. So you all head out into the yard and you look towards this cottage. It's this, again, it's exactly what Father Alvarado had seen earlier. It's this one storybook looking traditional Russian cottage. And you can see this light from inside, but what's your approach? How are we getting there?
Is there like an obvious, like, did the father leave like a door open or something? Is there like an obvious way that he went in?
It does appear that the front door is open.
Okay. With the objective of getting to him quickly to see if we can help, I think Daphne would cautiously head in that direction, ready to take cover as needed.
You do remember Agent Clove's specific instructions to not let anyone speak.
Yeah.
I think Bear, since I'm kind of bringing up the rear anyway, Bear is just going to kind of charge straight for that front door, sort of waving to the others as he goes, for them to take up positions. And I think he's going to try and breach the door while the others maybe get to the sides, whatever they want to do.
I think Leah will try to circle around the back.
Yeah, and Bobby might actually come up with Bear. Just to if he breaches the door and something happens to him, Bobby can assist him.
What's Daphne doing?
Yeah, I guess if Dr. Caron is splitting, I'll go with her to give her backup.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Caron and Agent Daphne, you start making your way around the side of the house towards ostensibly the back, and you notice that there is a side door on that northeasternly facing side of the residence that you could possibly make entry that way. For you, Bear, and Bobby, you step onto the porch and you can see the door is open, and what you see inside, obviously whatever facade that Babushka had been, that Yelena Kalamatiano had been projecting has dropped, and you see and smell this slaughterhouse-like interior with these profane, sadistic images painted on the walls, these upside-down crosses, and you see Father Alvarado's body on the floor, and standing above him, this older, almost maybe at one point grandmotherly woman with these voluminous black robes. It hangs open at this point, and you can see these asymmetrical, tumorous udders down the front of her body. They lactate out of these pulsing sores resembling genitalia, and this filth is dripping from them. I need you both to make sanity rolls, please.
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, that's the sanity roll if I ever heard one. Oof, 1 over.
Good Lord. Oh yeah.
At
All
least
right.
those weren't fumbles.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
56 out of 55 for Bear and 89 out of 55 for Bobby. You both will lose. Go ahead and roll 1d6, please.
Ooh, 1d6. Ew.
I'm gonna. Can I project it on a bond? Yeah.
You can indeed project. So first you got to see how much you lose.
Okay.
I lost 3.
So you both lose 3. Obviously it's not over. It's not 5 or over. So you're not going to go temporarily insane. Up to you if you want to project at this point or not.
No, I will not project.
No, I'm not gonna project either.
Okay. She turns to look at you both, almost surprised, and you can see Father Alvarado is unmoving, his eyes wide open and staring, and this blackish crimson, likely blood spreading out from between his legs, down his pants, up his shirt. He is very obviously dead. But as you take this scene in, Daphne and Dr. Caron, what is your approach? What are you doing?
Is the door that we found locked, or is it open? Or can we open it? I mean,
It is locked.
I'm looking for a window to see if I can see anything inside then.
There is a window that looks into this utility room, but it's dark. You can't make much out. You can't see into the living room itself.
Okay. What is, like, if we were to try to pick the lock, what role would that be? Is that like a specific skill? I don't remember.
Yeah, so typically you would need either craft locksmith or special training in lockpicking. But if you would like, I will allow you to use dexterity. Or you could just try to kick it down.
Yeah, we don't hear anything, but that would be like just a strength roll.
Yep.
Ugh, my strength isn't as good.
My dexterity is better than my strength, but that's just a 50-50 shot.
I'll try to pick the lock once, and then maybe if that doesn't work.
And you could also shoot the lock off. That's another option. If you don't care about going loud, you could shoot the lock.
That's true.
I forget which weapons do you have. What guns do you two have? Do you remember?
I have the shotgun and the hunting rifle.
Yeah, I have a medium pistol.
All right, and then you said you have a shotgun, Dr. Caron?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be easy. We can do it?
Hart was going to try to pick it once.
Okay. All right, yeah. Agent Daphne, if you want to try to pick, go ahead and roll dexterity.
So close.
Ooh, 56 out of 55. Goddamn. Yeah. You don't know if it's the adrenaline or what, or your just general unfamiliarity with picking locks, but you just can't get through this. And then you see that shotgun clenched and Dr. Caron's shaking hands.
No, yeah, she just nudges her aside and just shoots the lock.
Okay. Moving back to the porch. Bear, Bobby, what's your move? What are you doing? I'd say you've got the drop on her at this point, but it's not going to last long. So whatever you're going to do it quick.
Bobby is normally opposed to violence. He doesn't like it very much, but I don't think he views this woman as a human. Like, she just kind of gives off too much of an eldritch horror vibe. And so he does the thing. I think he panics, but his like form of panic is running at the thing. So I think he's going to run and try and take a swipe, not out of bravery, but out of like sheer blind animal panic.
Love it. Okay, go ahead and roll your melee weapons.
Well, not great.
Yeah, with a 93 out of 30, you stumble slightly over Father Alvarado's body. Your feet catch on his outstretched arm, and when you go to swing, you miss. The bat just kind of swings past her shoulder, and the momentum carries you forward past her. For you, Bear, what's the move? What's the play?
I think seeing Bobby, lunge at this thing, Bear is enough to shock Bear into remembering the admonition not to let her say anything, not to let any of them say anything. And so I'm going to take that heavy rifle that I got, and I'm going to shove it as close to her center of her mass as possible and pull the trigger.
Go for it.
All right.
I'd say you're in relatively close range, so I'll give you a 20% bonus.
Okay. That is 76 out of 80.
76 out of 80. Beautiful. Go ahead and roll that 1d12 plus 2 damage.
That is a damage of 8 with armor piercing of 5 in case she has armor.
She does not have armor. So your shot catches her in the upper left of her chest. She spins and falls to the ground, bleeding profusely. This black, pussy ichor out of the wound in her chest. She is unconscious at this point.
So just instinctively, Bear is going to follow up, take the butt of the rifle and just bring it down as hard as I can on her head.
I won't even make you roll, just roll.
Would that be like a baseball bat?
It'd be like a baseball bat. 1d8, yeah, go ahead and roll 1d8.
Bobby, after his like burst of panic and missing, seeing Bear take care of it, he's backed into a corner of the room and has kind of slid to the floor.
All right, so that would be a 3 on a d8.
Yeah, you cave her skull in, and you don't view this as a person anymore. You don't view this as a grandmother or as anybody worthy of mercy, but you cave in her skull with the butt of that rifle, and she is motionless. For you, Daphne, and Dr. Caron, you hear that report from the hunting rifle, and it's clear that somebody is shooting at whoever is inside. Dr. Caron, I'm guessing you're shooting the lock?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy enough. I'm not even going to make you roll. All you're doing is essentially putting the muzzle of the weapon up against it and pulling the trigger. You're caught with splinters from the wood and the metal, and not enough to do any damage. But at this point, the adrenaline is pumping so hard that you're not even registering the pain. And you guys are through that door into this slaughterhouse of a cottage, and you turn and you see, as you turn to your left and look into that living room, you see Bobby and Bear standing over this woman with these unnatural udders on the front of her corpse now. And you see Father Alvarado.
I think Daphne just takes a minute to make sure that obviously she's not moving, sees the head caved in, and then she looks around at the other two. Everyone good?
I do need you two to roll sanity, Dr. Caron and Agent Daphne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
When you ask, is everyone good? Bobby doesn't reply, but he looks at you like you're insane.
Yeah, I think Bear just kind of looks in your direction and just goes, fuck.
With a 33 out of 66 there, Dr. Caron, you lose nothing. Oh, with a 70 out of 62, Agent Daphne, go ahead and roll 1d6, please.
Oh.
With a 3, okay. Do you want a projector? You good taking that?
I think I'm good taking that, yeah.
The cottage has fallen eerily silent at this point. You can't get that rotten meat smell out of your nose. It smells like an abattoir.
I'm gonna go to Father Alvarado's body. I'm assuming it's kind of obvious that he's dead, but just almost on instinct, she's gonna go down and check for a pulse.
There is none.
I think Bobby might step outside to be sick before coming back in.
When Bobby goes outside, Bear's gonna call to him and say, Bobby, there was some diesel in the barn, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
You better bring it.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that this house is clear, Leah looks around and says to Daphne and to Bear, I'm going to scout the other house again, make sure the kids can be corralled in an area outside of it so we can set the whole thing on fire.
Be careful, there might still be more cultists around.
She kind of raises the shotgun and nods and heads out.
Somebody make an alertness roll for me.
I'm pretty alert.
Go for it.
A 22, that's a critical out of 80.
You hear it sounds like a shuffle at first, and your mind can't quite place what it is or what its source might be. But Bear, you eventually look around and you see that a shudder has run through Yelena Kalamatiano's body. And it jumps once, and then again.
Yeah.
And then it begins to seize violently there on the floor, her back bucking with almost enough force to break her spine, her limbs jerking and slapping against the floor of the cottage. Something happens then. Her rib cage splits. You can hear bone and sinew and muscle and flesh ripping and tearing as something from within bursts forth.
What the fuck? I'm gonna aim my rifle at it and shoot.
When Bobby sees the body start to seize and hears Bear say that, he's going to grab his bat again and look around panicked at the others and start going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
What emerges from within her is this blackish, green, ropey mass of tentacles and these snaky arms covered in orifices that look almost like female genitalia, and you can smell this stench of rot, and these tentacles push her corpse off of the ground, and it lunges for you, Bobby. First, I need everybody to go ahead and roll sand. Everybody in this room.
Yeah.
94 out of 55. That's not good.
That is not good.
Yeah, failed as well.
All right, so we've got Dr. Caron with a 50 out of 66. We've got Bobby with an 84 out of 52. We've got Bear with a 94 out of 55. And we got Daphne with a 90 out of 59. For those who succeeded, which in this case is literally just Dr. Caron, you lose 1. For everybody else, I need you to roll 1d10, please.
Oh no!
I'm going to be projecting some trauma tonight, I think.
Bear and Bobby, you both lose 4. Again, not enough to go temporarily insane, thankfully. Agent Daphne, you lose a total of 8. Go ahead. If you plan on projecting, go ahead and roll 1d4.
Oh my god.
Okay. We're
A
good.
full 4. So you lose that much willpower points. You subtract that much from your sanity loss, so you only lose 4. And then subtract that much from a bond of your choice.
Ooh, I hit my breaking point.
Oh shit, did you really?
Yep, it's 56.
Okay. Reset your breaking point to your current sanity minus your power. Thankfully, yeah, reaching the breaking point does not incur temporary insanity unless the sand loss was of 5 or more, which in this case it wasn't. Just yeah, make sure you set your new sanity and breaking point. We'll get to the disorder later.
I think I'm going to project as well, just because I don't want to hit the breaking point.
Okay.
So I'm going to project that, I think, on my wife, Cheryl Swenson, and that's a D4. That's 2.
2. So you'll subtract that much from your sanity loss. So in your case, you only lose 2. Subtract that from your willpower points and subtract that from your bond with Cheryl.
All right.
And I will say real quick, I think Daphne in this moment, as this thing is coming towards Bobby, I believe you said, her normal instinct is to just shoot. But something breaks in her brain and she freezes instead with her gun pointed at it, unfortunately for Bobby.
Yeah, I will let anybody who wants to attack in this moment, as these tentacles are emerging from within the corpse of the babushka, you may do so. So if you want to do attack, Bear, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attack as well.
Okay.
Yeah, can Bobby make like a wild swing with his bat as it leads towards him?
Of course, absolutely.
With the shotgun, can I try to not hit my people?
I will say unless you fail or fumble, you won't have to worry about that.
Okay.
I did get a 24 out of 80, so
You did. Go ahead and roll damage.
no lethality, but that's a big gun.
Yep.
Oh, 13. Damn.
The heavy 7.62 millimeter round punches into this writhing mass that has emerged from within the babushka. It appears to have no effect whatsoever. For you, Bobby, you again try to swing at it, but you are so blinded by sheer panic that you don't even know where you're aiming or what you're swinging for, and you miss wildly. For you, Dr. Caron, with that 77 out of 60, you pull the trigger and there is this heart-shattering click as the weapon has jammed.
Motherfucker.
It is Babushka's turn.
Yeah.
So when you say it seemed to have no effect, I guess we don't know what that means, right?
Yeah. While we're at it, everybody in the group make a luck roll. Excellent. Okay, yeah, 39 out of 50 for Dr. Caron, 17 out of 50 for Agent Daphne, and 21 out of 21 under 50 for Bobby, and 53 over 50 for Bear. Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right, so this Calamatiano thing reaches out for Bobby, and its tentacles wrap around him, and you can hear this ungodly sucking sound as it latches onto him, onto his face, onto his chest, and begins to drain him. Bobby, you are wrapped up in these foul-smelling, slick, fleshy tentacles, and one of them latches itself on your face, and you try to scream, unable to do so as you feel your very blood being drawn out from your body.
I feel like when he tries to scream, he can't do so because his mouth is covered, but you still hear kind of like a like a high pitched sort of like muffled whine. It like starts out as more of like grunting or whatever, and just gets like a little bit more high pitched and pathetic and animal sounding as it goes on. And he's sort of like batting at it with the bat, but it's rubbery skin. It just doesn't seem to be doing much.
Go ahead and roll 1d6 for me. You lose that much from your strength.
Oh, okay. My strength wasn't very good to begin with. He's a big guy. He's not a strong guy. But it's at a 6 now.
So, okay, that's good to know. So 6 times. What's your constitution?
My constitution is a 14.
All right, so your hit points would be down. I think reduced a bit.
Yeah, my current was supposed to be 12, but my maximum is now 10. I was 1 below my maximum before, so that would make my total hit points 9, right? Does that carry over?
It does, yep.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, I'm at 9 out of 10.
Okay. What's everyone else doing? We'll go in dex order this time around. We'll go with we'll start with Bear. Bear, what's the plan?
I don't have anything clever to do but shoot again. I think I've got the best weapon to shoot with, so I'm going to hope that does something.
Okay.
It is wrapped around my face.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So if I kill you, at least I might kill it. But I think honestly, this is just so horrific. Bear is just trying to get rid of it at this point. And so, running out of ammo too. Oh, that's a 93. At least it's not a crit.
93 out of 80. Yeah, unfortunately, just you've never witnessed anything like this, and your body is unable to process the sheer horror of what you are witnessing right now, and you jerk the trigger, and you don't even know where that bullet goes. Maybe it did hit, maybe it didn't. You are just so locked into witnessing what is happening to Bobby right now that you just have no idea where you even shot. Bobby, go ahead and make a either make a strength roll or just make a strength roll. Let's see if you can pull yourself free.
Not good chances. Hey, what the fuck?
With a 3 out of 30, yeah, you are able to pull some of the, just with this last burst of adrenaline, you're able to pull these tentacles out from around you, and you scream. I'm assuming you're still screaming or whimpering.
Oh, big time. But I think it's like a scream, but like really breathy. Like he's had some of the stuff kind of like some of the, I guess, like life force sucked out of him, right? So he's screaming as hard as he can that it almost sounds like he's damaged his throat a little bit, and it's now just a sort of high-pitched whistle.
Babushka, this thing, unfortunately, it feels you begin to pull away, and rather than turning its attention to the others, it wraps those tentacles around you even more and begins pulling you in towards that open and gaping chest cavity, wrapping around your neck, your skull, your chest, your arms, and pulling you towards it. You felt just this brief moment of what may have been victory as you felt them loosen just a bit, but then for them to tighten even more. Daphne, you are up. Are you still frozen?
No, I think the screaming and then now him being pulled, she kind of snaps out of it after that first round. And having seen Bear shoot and seemingly it having no effect, since the kitchen is right there, do I see any knives kind of out?
You do. You do see some knives that are independent of any, knife block or wooden block or anything like that, and they're kind of scattered around the linoleum and the tile and on the countertop itself. For a moment, you find yourself wondering why anyone would need so many knives, and then you realize how ridiculous that thought is in the moment. But yes, you do find a knife.
Okay, I'm gonna run over there and grab one.
Okay.
And then as much as you let me do in my turn, her goal is to go back and then try to see if she could just cut this thing off of him and stab it.
Yeah, I'd say you've got enough movement to get there and back, but it'll have to be in your next turn.
Okay.
For you, Dr. Caron, go ahead and make a firearms roll, please. We'll see if you can clear that jam.
No.
Oh shit, with an 88 out of 40. Not only do you not think you can clear that jam, you're not even sure you're going to be able to get this shotgun up and running again.
I think she casts it aside and goes for the old rusted hunting rifle. But as she's doing that, in her mind, she's like blind panic chanting, something help us, fucking hell, what the fuck?
In that moment, this Calamatiano thing lets out what may be a shriek, some ungodly howl that has no place on this earth and perhaps maybe never even originated in this plane of existence. And it, with Bobby in its grasp, it lunges forward and pushes its way past you all, charging like a bull. If you all want to see if you can get out of the way, go ahead and make a dexterity roll.
Which way is it charging?
It's charging out towards the front door.
Would we technically be behind it?
Yep, you would. So you and Daphne would be behind it. For you, Bear, since you rolled an 11 out of 65, you have enough presence of mind to get out of its way as this thing charges into the night with this ungodly howl. And you catch one last glimpse of Bobby as it charges forward, and you hear a sickening crack as it pulls Bobby in half, and Bobby, your spine breaks as it pulls it into you. And you don't know what it is you're watching. If you turn, do you all turn to watch it as it goes?
I don't know how I could stop myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
It begins writhing and jerking almost like it was when it was born, and parts of it begin to slough off into the earth with this sickening hiss, and you notice that it's corroding Bobby in its grasp as well, and pieces of it begin to fall off, pieces of Bobby begin to fall off, and it putrefies in mere moments, collapses to the earth, and whatever is left of it begins to sizzle and hiss and rot in place into the earth with Bobby beneath it.
Fuck! What do we do now?
I think Leah just stands there breathing heavily for a second before she somehow pulls herself together and says, the plan doesn't change, the diesel, the fire, now.
Daphne, after standing there in shock for a second, like lowers her arm that held the knife and just turns around for a second away from the others and sets it on the counter, and she kind of braces herself on the counter, and there's a moment where very quietly to herself, she kind of just whispers like, not again, not fucking again. And like takes a minute to compose herself.
With that, what is our plan? You all are recovering from what you just saw and what you just fought and the death of yet another one of your group. You've got this cottage, you've got the house, you've got the children, the barn and the shed that you still likely need to search. And not just that, but you need to clean up any evidence that you had ever been there to begin with, including these corpses that are now on the property. What is the plan?
Well, Bear, having been given some direction what to do, is just going to automatically follow that, because I don't think he's really thinking for himself right now. So I just run out the front door and start running towards the barn, trying to remember where we saw some gas or diesel in the barn.
So as you beeline towards the barn and you sprint down the property towards it, you notice that some, if not all of the children that you encountered in that kitchen, in that dining room, on those mattresses have begun, even in their various states of shock and quiet and obviously not being dressed appropriately for the weather, they are making their way towards the barn as well. In fact, some are already in there. And you notice that cages have been opened and some of the animals are out and about, but they, oddly enough, they just like Mr. Throb, they haven't strayed far from the barn itself. And the children seem to almost instinctively know likely which animal belongs to them. And they go and they seek out these animals and they pick them up, they cradle them, they sit with them. And it's an oddly unsettling scene. But despite all that, you push past them and into the barn, and you grab these cans of fuel, and you're heading back to the cottage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I could say to these kids to make anything better. I wish I could, but I think, Bear struggles with that because he wants to make them feel better, but he just doesn't have any words.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grab a can of diesel and run back to the house, just kind of looking behind me as I do at this weird scene.
Looking down at the corpse of Alvarado and back towards where Daphne's in the kitchen, I think Leah speaks up and she says, or she's asking Daphne, what are we going to do about the kids?
Yeah, Daphne is quiet for a second and then seems to acknowledge Leah's question. She turns around, more composed. I mean, once we light this place on fire, social services will come. Eventually, they'll realize kids are here. I don't think we specifically have to take them anywhere. Just need to... And she kind of looks at the bodies. You just need to hide the reality of what the fuck happened here.
Yeah. I guess then we take any identifying information off of Alvarado's body. Anything at all that could make him identifiable at all. I think we might need to take his body at least away because it was mostly intact versus Bobby's, which was disintegrated.
Well, do you go and look at Bobby's body?
Yeah.
There's enough of it left. Like, pieces have been eaten away, but there's still parts of a face, parts of a head. There's teeth. There's bones. There's enough.
I think if she can, she'll find not in Babushka's house, but in the other house, a large enough blanket, and she's treating the gathering of Bobby's parts as if she's back in school, back in the forensics part of school, and she's gathering up evidence and putting his body back together piecemeal so that they can take it away or try to take both of their bodies away.
It'll be easier to do that with Bobby's. I hate to suggest it, but we could put Father Alvarado with the other adults. They'll just think he was part of it.
Make sure to strip all information off of him, but
it'll be easier than trying to hide all of this and a body that someone might eventually start looking for. If they at least find him here, they'll know he died, and I doubt anyone will want... She kind of pauses, like kind of hating herself for saying this, but I doubt anyone will ask questions beyond that if they think he was involved in this.
Leah nods and starts gathering up Bobby's body.
Yeah, I take a moment over Father Alvarado, and Sarah's not like a religious individual, but I think she does like the little cross thing with her hands for a second over him and just very quietly says, "So sorry, Father." And yeah, we'll plan to put him with the other adults.
Okay. So in general, what is the plan of disposal for the adults? Are we gathering them in one place and then lighting them up?
I think so. That would be my recommendation, but...
So I think probably about this time, Bear would get back with the diesel, and if you guys say we should gather the bodies, he's gonna leave the diesel and trudge back to the main house and start collecting bodies.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can just like pile them all in the cottage or somewhere and set it on fire.
Yeah. That Bear's just following instructions at this point.
I'm also going to make sure that we pick up any shell casings that are left behind, just in case. So going to where I know there's been like gunfire and cleaning that up as well.
Make a search roll.
68 out of 80.
You are, surprisingly enough, and perhaps even surprising yourself, you have enough presence of mind to recall where exactly you engaged with gunfire, and you're able to go back and collect shell casings. You know that you would be here all night into the next day if you were to begin digging slugs out of the wall from where you shot inside and digging bullets out of bodies, but at least with the shell casings. And then what's your forensics at?
70.
With your skill in forensics, as long as you make the guns disappear that were used in this assault, there's going to be no evidence to connect back to you personally, or even back to the slugs they do dig out of the wall, if police end up responding.
Okay. And so then as far as like the unnatural kind of stuff, we have what's left of the babushka and Bobby, right?
You'll have to continue searching the premises to identify any other possible
True.
sources. I will say, Leah, you also remember that there was not only shovels in the shed, but there was lye as well.
Yeah, so she'll bring that out as well. I think as soon as she gathers Bobby's remains.
Okay. Yeah. So between the lye and the fuel from the barn, you've got some materials to begin disposing of bodies. As this is going on, of course, Agent Daphne is guiding you all through the property and picking up these shell casings from your various engagements, from the barn and the property, the edge of the property by the shed, the main house itself where you were engaged in that gunfight with the woman inside.
I also think while we're doing that, she will just make a very thorough sweep of the rest of, the rooms and the buildings that we weren't able to get into before, just to make sure there isn't anything unnatural that they leave behind, as well as looking to see if there are any potential like documents, paperwork, records, anything like that.
Okay, let's start with the cottage. The dining room and the living room, of course, are bad enough. I mean, you're gonna have to burn this cottage down with the blasphemous images and material that are in these main rooms. It is just unlike anything you have ever witnessed. You move back into the guest bedroom first, and it looks like this guest room serves as some kind of a cell. It's padded, it's soundproofed, it's filthy. The only furnishings are a tray holding these implements of torture, a filthy bucket, and chains looped through bolt holes in the far wall. The corner near these restraints has some battered dolls, some papers, crayons scattered about. I need you to go ahead and roll sanity.
Oh no, okay.
Oof, 84 out of 55. Thankfully, you only lose one.
Okay.
Now, are you searching this room?
I think so. I think she wants to be extremely thorough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe with your skill, you have 80%.
Yeah, in search, yes.
You begin looking through these materials and you find a notebook. And there are 4 drawings in particular. In the first, you see 5 stick figures around what appears to be some kind of a table, looking at a red square. In the second, you see a drawing of another stick figure with hair and a form that ostensibly identifies it as vaguely female. And you see a car, like a drawing, a very rudimentary, rough drawing of a car, and a black bird or crow, and you see red scratches, lines of red on this female stick figure's face.
I mean, she recognizes it as the incident that she had with a crow or a raven. Are there more drawings after that?
There is a third that shows that female stick figure again with those slashes on its face, reading what appears to be a book next to a smaller stick figure with childish X's over the eyes signaling death. And then finally the fourth shows a small figure curled into a ball floating in the center of the page and surrounded by jagged black teeth all around the margins.
Seeing the picture of where she's looking at the book and there's also what appears to be like a child around her, she immediately like looks around her, like just thinking that there will now be a child in this room with her for a moment.
There is not.
Okay. Yeah, closing the book, tucking it away, taking one last look around the room and not entirely sure what to make of it just yet, but haunted certainly by it.
Does anybody go? Do you go into the other bedroom, or do you let somebody else pitch in with the search, or are you going to eat all of this?
I think Leah will, after noticing that Daphne is busy.
Bear is now been sent to get the body, so he's probably gonna be searching the main house. Like as I go through it, he's not gonna look that closely, but you know he's gonna look at stuff as he goes through.
So we'll go back to Leah. Leah, you're searching the other room in the cottage.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll sanity.
Yeah. Fucking tracks. 58 out of 65.
All right, you lose nothing, thankfully. In this room, this appears obviously to have been the Babushka's room. There's an ancient bed, a chest of drawers, a small chamber pot. Apart from that, the room is entirely dedicated to blasphemy of the most grotesque sort. There are bones and desiccated body parts splayed on the floor in arcane shapes. The walls themselves are smeared with bodily fluids. There's a roll-top desk that is sagging under the weight of frantically scrolled notes in an alphabet you're not familiar with. It might be Cyrillic, next to obscene drawings and photographs. In one corner, there's a pile of dead rats with these words in what again appears to be Cyrillic scrawled on the wall above them. Do you have anything in history?
Nope. 10.
Make a roll, just for shits and giggles.
I don't want to know. A failure. Thank God.
27 out of 10. Okay. Yeah, you don't recognize it, but it appears this collection of slain rodents has been going on for some time. But as you look at it, this living rat wiggles out from beneath the pile and stares up at you. And there's blood around its mouth from possibly cannibalizing those it rested under, and it's staring at you.
I think noting there's nothing else in here, she's gonna back off.
Well, do you check the desk for the documents?
Yes. I wish she didn't, but yes.
You can ask Daphne if like there's stuff you don't want to touch.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. We'll say you don't even bother looking. You just scoop everything up on the desk.
Yeah, basically. She doesn't want to look. She is heavily denial of everything.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, you just scrape everything off the desk. Do you have like a bag or something that you're throwing this all in?
I think she might have stolen if there's a garbage bag anywhere in the house, she would have stolen one and just grabbed it.
Okay. It's all in Russian, so you can't even make out what it is. But yeah, you throw it all in this trash bag. While this is happening, we'll go on to Bear. Bear, you're searching the main house. Where are you starting?
Yeah, I think Bear's probably just gonna, for sake of completeness, he's gonna start in the old section of the house in those bedrooms to the west, and the bathrooms, of course.
As you go into the family room, you see this television again that appeared to have been broadcasting this figure skating trial. But as you pass it, the channels begin to switch inexplicably. One image is of Steve Irwin inspecting the teeth of a crocodile before the channel switches again, this time to what appears to be a rerun of When Animals Attack, a photographer being mauled by a lioness. Then it's down to Disney's Alice in Wonderland, and you see the teeth of the disappearing Cheshire cat. It switches again.
I think as it's switching, Bear is just going to try and go up and see if there's like a VCR or something that's playing here.
There is a VCR. but you eject the tape and the images continue to flip by. Now it's...
I'm going to turn off the TV.
Do you pull the plug or do you just turn it off?
I think I tried to turn it off first.
It switches back on.
I think Bear might just fucking shoot it. Yep, I'm just going to shoot it.
Okay.
I not with the rifle, probably with the pistol.
You pump around into the TV and it goes silent. And you hear some whimpers from whatever children are still in the kitchen and the dining room, some of them with their animals now. But you begin going through the bedrooms. And do you look for keys?
Yeah, that would make sense. You know, I mean, especially since the doors on this side I can probably bust through, but
Yeah.
the doors on the other side look pretty solid, right?
Yeah, and if you think to do it, which I presume you would, you check the body of the woman that was in the room, and she does have keys on her, and
Okay.
you check them against the bedrooms, and they do unlock the bedroom doors.
Okay.
You see that these were likely used by the occupants of the house, not necessarily the children, but the adults. There's a mixed spray of bras and boxer shorts on the floor. Their end tables inside are littered with condoms, pornographic magazines, and camera equipment that provide a startling contrast to dolls and stuffed animals that are piled in one corner. Mixed in with the filth is various drug paraphernalia. I do need you to go ahead and roll sanity.
Oh, that's a failure. 72.
You lose one from helplessness,
Okay.
and it is clear that some of the images that you were forced to witness may have been made in this room.
All right. I think, is there like a camera or something like that in here? Did you say?
There is camera equipment, yes.
I think realizing that this is where it happened, Bear is going to like take the baseball bat and just crush the camera.
You do also notice a cardboard box in the corner that reads punishment and is filled with dolls, action figures, and stuffed animals. It appears that toys that are near the top of the pile have been modified. Every cartoon animal, alligators and dinosaurs and lions, they've been retrofitted with marker to bear bloody teeth and claws. There's also an unlabeled cardboard box containing a variety of plastic face masks intended to make the wearers look like animals. They appear to be sized for adults and they smell of sweat.
I think Bear's just going to make note of that and go on. I also get the impression that there could be, traps here for us. So I think Bear's going to be a little bit careful of that. And plus, he's just fucking freaked out by it all and he doesn't want to deal with it.
You begin to check the dormitories on the other side using the keys that you pulled off the woman's corpse. And it appears that these are the rooms that were set up to make it look like that these children were being cared for. It appears no one has ever lived in these. There's a boys' dormitory and a girls' dormitory. The beds are pristinely made. They're immaculate and empty. A layer of dust over everything. That this was used to present the facade that these children had a suitable place to live. But when you search the boys' dormitory, go ahead and make a search roll for me.
58 out of 60.
You hear something odd from an air vent that is shared with the hallway, and there's air flowing, but it sounds like something is slapping against the grate. And with that search roll, you look into the grate itself, and you notice that there's what appears to be drawings within the grate itself, on the other side of the grate.
Obviously hidden here, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Against his better judgment, Bear is going to take a look at these drawings.
The images repeat over and over again, drawn by what appears to be different artists. But among these images are a man and a dog with a bleeding hand, a woman in a car with a deer with X's over its eyes and blood on her face, a woman and a crow, a man and a rat with scratches on his face. and a man and a cat.
These look like they were drawn by kids?
They are definitely drawn by children, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and make me a sanity roll.
Ah, that's a 32 out of 49.
You lose nothing. Nothing can top what you witnessed back in that cottage.
That's about right.
But yeah, you stabilize, but you're okay. Yeah, for now.
Yeah, Barrett's gonna put these back and just keep looking for people, bodies.
When you go back into the kitchen, you notice that some of the children are trying to break into some of the cabinets in the kitchen. And when they notice you holding a set of keys, one of them holds out his hand. He's a small blonde child, maybe 6, but his malnourished frame makes him look closer to 4. But he walks up to you, and the ferret from earlier is cradled around his neck, and he holds out his hand for the keys.
I think Barrett just hands them to him. He and just kind of looks down at him and says, "I'm so sorry." And then he grabs the body and leaves. The body of the woman.
The boy takes the keys and goes into the kitchen and unlocks the cabinets and begins handing out cans of food to the other children in there. Daphne and Dr. Caron, what are you doing?
Just finishing out searching the rest of the cottage.
I'd say at this point, yeah, you have found everything you were going to find at this point. You've consolidated the remains of the adults. Does anybody check the shed? I believe the shed is the only remaining one that hasn't been searched completely.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we'll go. Leah's going to get the lie from there. So yeah.
Okay. So when you do go to the shed to get the lie, you check it out, and you did do an initial look over before when you went down there. You know, of course, you saw the lawn maintenance equipment. You found the lie, shovels and wheelbarrows. You also saw the video processing unit that was used to make apparently copies of tapes. There are 2 shelves of wood grain VHS drawers, one labeled blanks and the other ready. There is a black ledger on the table that has a long list of PO boxes, code names, quantities, and dollar amounts. The drawers in the work table contain stamps, boxes, and empty sleeves for movies like Lethal Weapon 2 and Troop Beverly Hills. It appears that this was a illicit material manufacturing hub and used for distribution to make up the budget shortfalls in Families Without Frontiers.
Daphne is going to... Daphne is going to look... Like, if it's not unnatural, she's going to leave it, because it will be evidence for their story of, you know, this was just a really fucked up place, so that people don't look further into things. But if there is anything that kind of hints at, like, the unnatural, like, you know, the folder that started this all, but on, like, tape form, she's going to take it.
That would require watching some of the videos.
Fuck, I think she has to.
Yeah.
So she's going to pick up a tape and look at Leah and say, "You don't have to stay for this, but I need to make sure that fucking nightmare thing isn't done in any of these."
Leah taps the ledger. If there is, these people are also all, everyone who was involved. This is bigger than us.
Our job is just to make sure that people don't look for anything unnatural or occult.
Leah shakes her head. No, what I mean is, if anything unnatural or occult is in those tapes.
Yeah, how many tapes are there?
There's a lot.
Yeah, so we can only watch all of them.
No, just watch one of them. And if it's damning, then...
Yeah, here's what I'll do. So I'll watch, or start, I won't watch the whole thing. I might fast forward through it. One tape. And if it seems like it's just normal, horrible stuff, I will leave it and we can burn the rest. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm about to put it in. I give her one more look of like, you don't have to be here for this.
I'm not going to leave you alone in here.
Yeah, I pop it in, and if I can, I'm going to fast forward through a lot of it, just to cursory glance to make sure there's nothing of the babushka or anything like that on here.
Roll sanity, please.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh?
Fuck, man.
So Dr. Caron with a 32 out of 65, you succeed. Daphne with a 68 out of 54. Dr. Caron, thankfully you lose nothing. You manage to remain resolute in the face of these horrors, but for you, Agent Daphne, I need you to roll 1d4.
Damn, 4.
You lose 4 sanity. Do you project?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 1d4 again. 3.
All right.
So you only lose 1 sanity, but deduct 3 from a bond and from your willpower points.
Okay.
The material in the tapes is horrifyingly and agonizingly mundane.
Yeah, she pops it back out as soon as she can and just tosses it to the side. Yeah, let's burn the rest. That'll be enough.
Yeah. Leave the evidence where it is.
Smart.
Horrible, but yeah, smart.
Agent Daphne, at what point do you make your phone call?
I'm assuming she probably won't until like they're fully done and out of there.
Okay.
Unless I don't remember getting instruction otherwise. Did I?
Just when it's done, call her on the burner phone.
Okay. Yeah, Daphne takes that as like they're not there anymore. Like they've done everything and they're gone.
Okay. So we've collected the bullet casings. We've gotten the bodies in one location. We've collected what appears to be evidence of the unnatural, or could be evidence of the unnatural. It is written in Russian that Dr. Caron has in her possession. What's the next step?
Lighting the bodies on fire. What are we doing about the children?
Well, that's my question. So with the bodies, are you putting them in a cottage and lighting the cottage on fire? Are you digging? Are you creating a burn pit? What's the plan?
I vote for putting them in the cottage and setting the cottage on fire.
That's what I was going to say, because the cottage is fucked up. We don't want people to see that.
Okay.
Make sure the kids, I think, are well away from the house and the cottage. And I think what Leah does is also looks at whoever of the children is like actually making eye contact with her. And she says, we were never here. As she's like trying to usher them away from the house and like probably into the barn where they may have more cover from the cold.
Yeah, do you bring them to the barn or do you bring them to the main house?
No, to the barn. I don't want them to stay in the main house because I think they'll react badly if we try to take them elsewhere.
When you try to usher them from the main house, they don't appear willing to leave, especially now that they have access to food. They appear to have divided it surprisingly equally and equitably amongst each other. The older children, especially the blonde one with the ferret, appears to be almost supervising the others.
When Leah sees that and realizes that they're organized themselves, I think she kind of just nods quietly and tells them, you don't know what happened and we were never here.
The blonde boy walks up to you with the ferret and he kind of reaches up for your hand.
She lets him.
It begins leading you back towards the cottage. Do you go with him?
Yeah.
He takes you into the cottage kitchen, and you notice that when he passes by the bodies of his abusers, of Bobby and of Father Alvarado, he doesn't appear to even give them a second thought. He takes you into the kitchen and releases your hand, and he begins kicking at a spot on the plaster, and he begins tearing through the drywall. Do you stop him?
No. I help him.
You begin to help him, and you notice that there's books back there, thousands of them, and he begins pulling, and you begin pulling, and eventually, as a pile of books grows bigger behind you, he seems to focus in on one, and he hands it to you.
Before she looks at that book, she looks at the others.
The others are, some of them are so badly water damaged and weathered that it's difficult to even make out their subject or their title or the author. Some of them are children's books. Some of them are older books like Jungle Book. The one he hands you is The Chronicles of Clovis by Saki. The pages are water warped and moldy, but the book has fallen open to the short story, Sredni Vashtar. The poem is still legible. Sredni Vashtar went forth. His thoughts were red thoughts and his teeth were white. His enemies called for peace, but he brought them death. Sredni Vashtar, the Beautiful. The story describes a sick child named Conradin, whose pet polecat kills his evil aunt, and he comes to worship that animal as a god. How an illiterate child, or what you presume to be an illiterate child, pulled a story about a boy saved by a ferret from behind a wall where it was entombed for decades, how he managed that, I need you to roll sanity. 29 out of 65. You lose nothing. But he looks up at you with that ferret still curled around his neck. And he begins making his way back towards the main house.
I think she takes the book and puts it in the same bag with the Russian literature.
Okay. Daphne, Bear, were you watching this happen, or were you making other preparations?
Probably around, like getting the bodies ready to burn, I would imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, because we not only do we have there were two guys that we killed before we got to the main house. Then there were how many people did we kill in the house again?
Yeah, so you've got the two adult males that you killed outside. You've got the adult female you killed inside. You have Babushka, and then you have Father Alvarado and Bobby.
Yeah, so I think gathering up those three bodies is going to take Bear some time.
And Bobby, I think we shouldn't burn with these people, just because I'm worried that it'll be quite obvious if they get like a forensic person out here that
he disintegrated.
Yeah, that something's fucked up with his body. So I would recommend, like, I can get a garbage bag and put what's left of him in there, and we can maybe use the lie to break him down elsewhere on the property.
Babushka is also completely kind of disintegrated and become just this mass of paste. So yeah, I mean, between the lie and the diesel, you could burn him and disintegrate him in place, or at least make it worse. Up to you.
I guess we could do it right here. Yeah, okay. I guess we could do it with the same spot where like what's left of Babushka is. I was just wondering if it'd be better to take the body and dispose of it elsewhere just to be extra safe.
That's true, yeah. So what's your forensics?
70.
You know that they're going to identify him because dental records.
Right.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, once the fire is cooled a little bit, to take the teeth and scatter them elsewhere.
I mean, if you suggest that, Bear's just going to shake his head and say, I don't want to stay around that long.
Yeah, I think we need to be gone when the fire's our last thing.
All right, then we dispose of it elsewhere.
And you're going to leave Father Alvarado in place.
Unfortunately for his memory, yes, I think that's a safer bet for us than trying to get rid of another body.
All for Bobby, we just need his head.
True. And I think we need to take the easiest course of action, or the simplest, I guess, whatever has the least chance of being traced back or found.
As long as you can ensure that the flesh is burned from his, there's DNA, there's fingerprints, there's...
Between the lie and the diesel.
Okay. Who's cutting his head off?
I will. I'm a surgeon. Medicine. I've done not forensics, but I have a 70 in surgery.
You absolutely need to roll sanity again.
Yep. 22 out of 65.
Do you want to take his hands and feet while you're at it?
Yeah, it's technically the smart move.
Okay. You have his head, you have his hands, you have his feet. And with that, do we set the cottage on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We pour the lye over the bodies to let it begin doing its gruesome work, and we use the accelerant to set the cottage on fire. And soon it is engulfed in flame. We also collected, I'm assuming, the firearms that we used in this event, correct?
Oh yeah, I would assume we still had those on us. Yeah.
Okay. What do we do next?
We need to find a place of disposal that's far enough away that we can make it We need to get back to the car.
Yeah, I think we get back to the car. The kids presumably will be safe in the other house, and we can maybe find a payphone and anonymously report the fire.
Okay.
We should give ourselves enough time. I don't think we should report it at all.
I don't know that Bear would know this, but you could call the person who told us to call them when we're done, right?
Yeah, but that won't solve this problem of like making sure the kids get found in a timely manner.
Yeah, okay.
They have enough food for now. They still have access to running water. They'll survive. They're organized. And if anything, they can get help from the nearest town as soon as they get desperate enough. That's the nearest farm as soon as they're desperate enough.
I don't think we should let them stay there for days. These are traumatized kids, and while we can hope for the best, we have no idea how they will respond to things. I think we do what we need to do. We get rid of everything. We don't call the fire in immediately. We, make sure that everything is clear, but then we just make sure that someone sees the fire way out here. And then social services can come get the kids.
Yeah, I think as soon as we're finished disposing of the final remains, we can call it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll break this down into phases. First things first. What do we do with Bobby's remains?
You mean after we set the fire, or?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you all are back in your car and actually leaving the site at this point.
Yeah, we want to be far away from here, whatever we do.
Okay, the Bobby's remains, we're just gonna bury him somewhere, or with lie, or burn him.
Burning him won't stop with the dental records, but we can at least make sure the remains are as disintegrated as possible.
Right, and then even if, months, years, whatever from now, they find and they identify the dental records, ideally we'll be far enough, there's no way they'll be able to connect it to this.
Exactly.
He's going to be a missing person. Someone's going to try to find him. So, yeah. So I think driving away somewhere that looks like really remote, then maybe finding a couple different spots to spread out those remains.
Okay. With your forensics, you're easily able to use the lie and bury it deep enough and in a secluded enough spot to ensure it won't be disturbed by animals, by wildlife, and that it'll, the lie will be given enough time to do its work. And you, I presume, bury the head, the hands, and the feet in separate spots?
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes care of that. What do we do with the firearms?
So I see this in movies, so please correct me if this is something that works or not. But I'm thinking just break them apart, toss one into a river over here, keep driving, toss another one over there. Just kind of break them apart and spread them out and just toss them. But I don't know if that's actually legit.
That'll work.
Okay.
Especially once you start crossing state lines back into if you go into Virginia, actually toss it into the ocean or some of the bigger bays. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
And then what do we do with the material that was seized from the house?
I think destroy it. I don't see any reason for us to hang on to it or try to hide it.
Well, and so that leaves the car. So what do you plan on doing with the car?
Abandon it across state line, torch it so that whoever's car we stole, they're like, oh man, some asshole took my car and torched it.
Do you kill two birds with one stone and leave the material in there?
No, because she wants to watch the material burn to be very thorough to make sure it's gone.
Got it.
She would hate to someone to find the car and, oh no, this one little weird thing.
All right, so we'll say you burn the material first, then find a spot to dispose of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. And you burn that with the I guess the diesel fuel you took from the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever was left.
And probably just stick a rag in the gas tank and light it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do with your clothes?
We should have had changes of clothes in the car, so leave these clothes in the car as it burns.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Perfect. You change. You leave the clothes that you wore to that gruesome assault on Cornucopia House inside the vehicle.
Make sure to take Alvarado's and Bobby's change of clothes with us.
You don't burn them in the car, you take them with you.
Yeah, because it's just leaving their identifying information.
Speaking of which, with Bobby, Would you all have taken his wallet and things with you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I stripped Alvarado and Bobby of identifying information.
What are you going to do with that?
Cut it up to little bits and toss it in the trash.
Okay. And with the vehicle engulfed in flames, I'm assuming you all make your way back to your hotel?
Yeah.
How are you getting back?
I imagine like walking to some kind of business or building, then calling a cab.
All right. When do you make your call, Daphne?
When she's in her hotel room alone.
We never called the fire department, did we?
Not yet. We hadn't.
Yeah, probably when we're at the hotel. If someone else wants to find a payphone or something nearby that can't be traced back to us.
I would say probably like as we're walking to find the place that we're going to get the cab, I think Bear would be looking for a phone that we could call it in.
We do have burner phones.
That's true. We do have burner phones.
Yeah, that works too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But what do you do with those burner phones?
Yeah, like we did the shotguns, toss them into a body of water.
Like remove like whatever.
The SIM card, the battery?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Crush them. Yeah.
Got it. We'll presume you use one of those to call, you said the fire department?
Yeah.
Okay. You alert them to the fire at the Cornucopia House property, and Agent Daphne, you use your remaining burner to call Clove. She answers after too many rings for comfort. She is whispering. She answers with a hissed, "What happened?"
It's done.
She immediately begins weeping, audibly. And nothing about a sanctioned operation should have made Clove this nervous. There's either something very wrong on her current operation, or she just got away with something.
Yeah, Daphne gets that sense, but stays quiet for now, doesn't press her.
You, did you get rid of all the bodies?
Yeah, they're burning.
Every document, every audio, every video recording, everything?
Yeah, there was one tape, fully mundane, that we left behind to explain, I don't know, give the cops something to chew on, but otherwise, yes.
What did you do with the children?
They're there. The officials will probably find them when they go respond to the fire.
No. You know what you have to do.
I did what I had to do. You said kill the adults.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry. Everyone who came into contact with this, everyone, they're corrupted. They're poisonous now. You made them children. You know children. They're always learning. Children are always learning. You saw what they learned. You saw what they learned, and you saw what they're going to carry out with them. You know what you need to do. You know what we would want you to do.
Who is we?
The group.
What group?
The only group that fucking matters.
You gave me instructions and I followed them. You do not get to tack this on at the end when all of this is done and those kids who have just survived something horrific might finally get a chance at healing.
You need to do it. You need to do it. You need to do it. You want to end up like the rest? You need to cut it off and walk away. There's a crash of glass, followed by a knock and a muffled voice, and then you hear through a hand over the mouthpiece. "Sorry, honey, I just dropped something. I'll be out soon." And then another whisper. "I'm out. You do what you want. Don't try to find me." And she hangs up the phone. It is now very clear to you, Daphne, that nothing about this mission was ever sanctioned by Delta Green. Roll sanity for me.
God damn. 59 out of 53.
You lose 1.
Yeah, I mean, she holds on to the phone for a long time. She does not sleep that night. I think she dials up and then cancels one of her contacts in Delta Green a few times, like torn between like, I need to report something's going on with Clover, but then if this comes back and then, you know, Gerrald and Leah could get caught up in Delta Green politics and could be killed because of this unsanctioned job. And she's just, battling with that all night, not getting any sleep.
Gerrald, what do you do with the rest of your evening?
I mean, I think Gerrald is probably gonna sit in his room for a while, trying to figure out what to do or how to process this. We're all staying at the same hotel, right?
You are, yep.
I think eventually he's gonna get up and he's going to go to Dr. Caron's room and just knock on the door.
I think when Leah had finally gotten back to her hotel room, she had basically went straight to the ensuite bathroom and puked her guts up multiple times. She's kind of just finished and just like gotten herself settled in like a chair with like a glass of water with shaking hands when she hears the knock. And she carefully goes and opens the door.
Why didn't you say anything?
What do you mean?
Those kids. Why didn't you say anything? You could have told them that it was going to be okay.
Are you kidding me? Nothing was ever going to be okay for them again, not unless they found it.
But you're a doctor.
I'm not a miracle worker.
Fuck.
They were already abused in the most horrific manner by people who were supposed to take care of them.
Did we make things better or did we make them worse? Because it feels like we made them worse. Or just...
Come on.
Fuck.
She shuts the door. She pulls him in and shuts the door. We stopped it. But there's more to this because there was a ledger and other people were getting off on or like buying that shit. Whatever was happening to those kids.
That's not no, that... Fuck. Some sick people out there. What are we gonna do now?
Try to forget.
You think you can?
No. But I'm going to try. How else are you going to live with yourself? We just had to let a priest and one of the sweetest men I had met, who possibly couldn't hurt a fly, die. Because they were dragged into this. And they shouldn't have been. A fucking priest who died in a horrific manner.
You think we stopped it? It doesn't feel like we stopped it.
I don't know.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go. Look, I should never have agreed. I'm gone.
Go.
And yeah, Barrow's just gonna barrel out the door and run out to his car and start driving home.
I think with that, as you all try to find a moment's worth of peace and calm your minds enough to obtain some semblance of rest and leave the horrific events of this night behind you, I think that is a great place to bring Go Forth to a close. Thank you for listening to Delta Green, God's Teeth, part of the Black Project Gaming podcast. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or a comment on YouTube. Be sure to visit blackprojectgaming.com for previous and future Delta Green episodes. If you'd like updates on all future releases, please follow us on Blue Sky or Facebook. Until next time, I'm Vince, your host and handler, with Brett as Robert Bobby Gleeckman with the NSA's Tailored Access Operations Unit, Cami as FBI Special Agent Sarah Hart, also known as Agent Daphne, Doug as Virginia State Trooper Gerrald Bear Swenson, Jack as Father Nicolas Alvarado, professor at Georgetown University, and Sonia as Dr. Leah Caron, Army Physician at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. Thank you again, and remember, we'll be seeing you.